These are a few selections that will be featured at the upcoming NONA Wine Festival taking place here at the Grand Hotel on Friday night. We're going to try some of those in this Today on Go Island. Today on Go, a tendency to type. A Nanaimo teen writes mysteries on a typewriter. Live edge furniture in the Cowichan Valley and water buffalo in Port Alberni. That plus wine and more on Go. You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. I'm Kate Bergen. That is Susie Siri. She's the operations manager here at the Grand Hotel, and she's getting things ready for a little private pre-sampling between her and I and you of some wines that will be featured at the upcoming NONA, North Nanaimo Wine Festival, Friday night here at the Grand Hotel. It's a first annual event. About 20 representatives will be here with 100 different wines. We'll have more on that later on this edition of Go Island. In the meantime, we're going to throw things down to Terry Church in Duncan. She's going to introduce us to a furniture company that makes intricate creations from recycled, reused, reclaimed wood. It's called Live Edge Furniture. But before that, Nikki Iwanishin from Victoria made a visit to Nanaimo recently and spent some time with a local teen, Dirk Plant, who loves typewriters, collects old antique typewriters, and writes mysteries on them. Here's Nikki Iwanishin. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4, and today we're at the Grand Hotel because this is going to be the setting of the NONA Wine Festival taking place on Friday night. NONA, North Nanaimo Wine Festival. It's a first annual event. This is Susie Siri. She's the operations manager here at the Grand Hotel, and it's morning time when we're recording this, and we're going to be tasting some wine at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
My kind of lady. We're going to start with, you have a selection here of the types of wines that will be represented
A few of them
at the festival.
That's right.
Why do you think we need another wine festival in the region, first of all?
Well, I think we needed something a little bit more intimate, something a little different, and also we were able to pull in some of the more exciting wines, I think, that aren't always necessarily easily accessible.
Okay.
And so we thought we'd have a little bit of fun with this and do it at the start of fall.
Now we had a plan for what we're going to sample and just a caliber of the representatives that will be here.
Calliope, they're actually from the Wise family. Burrowing Owl, it's their sister sort of brand that's out there right now. A really beautiful selection of wines and something to definitely be watching for. Burrowing Owl's Calliope.
A cult following, you say?
Cult following
Very
for
popular.
sure.
Now
Yes.
we're going to try this one. Maybe as you open and pour, you could tell us a bit about it.
Astrolabe. It's actually a New Zealand wine, and it's a really fun Sauvignon Blanc. You pick up some really interesting, I think it's a screw top, yes. These new screw tops are fun.
Which are more common than the corks now, aren't they?
Oh, they really are.
Yeah.
There's a real shortage on the corks at the moment, so they're trying to give it a real swirl.
I'll save that one.
And
so there's a story.
So
there.
there's a really neat story. These are the people a year ago, or roughly a year ago. They had a big shipment, $800,000 worth of wine going to Dublin, and it got caught. The ship got caught on one of the reefs, and it was actually an astrolabe reef, I think it was called. It was quite ironic that it got caught there, and so their cases of wine actually got stuck out in the middle of the reef.
Coincidence. The name of the wine gets stuck.
And it was a coincidence. It really was.
And
so.
you picked this one. I don't want to call it a breakfast wine, but maybe a good selection.
A breakfast wine
for the morning.
It is, because you actually pick up some really interesting. You get elderflower. You get rose petals. I don't know what you're picking up on the nose. But,
it went straight to my lips.
It
no,
went
no,
right in.
I did so smell. It's very nice.
It's softer. It's bright. It's fruit forward.
And what's the price point on something like this?
Approximately $24. This is one of the Christopher Stewart wine lineups, and she's going to have quite the selection that night. But this was one of them, and one of my favorites actually. And it's a great breakfast wine. Like you say, cheers.
Cheers. We're going to come back, actually. We were going to taste 2 wines in this section, but the conversation is flowing along with the wine. We'll come back with more from the NONA Wine Festival later on this edition of Go Island. Fabulous.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I do. Cheers again.
Cheers again.
Still ahead on Go Island, whispering to the water buffalo in Port Alberni, micro-lending in Victoria, and grape-infused rum right here in Nanaimo. That's still ahead on Go. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. I'm Kate Bergen. This is the Grand Hotel, which will host the NONA Wine Festival on Friday night. We're enjoying some private pre-samples with Susie Siri. She's the operations manager here and giving us a few choice pours of what you can expect at the festival on Friday night. Remember, buy your tickets in advance because you cannot buy them at the door. We'll do some more sampling later on this edition of Go. In the meantime, we're going to throw things down in Victoria to James Green, looking at the business of micro-lending. Any company needs some seed money to get their feet off the ground, and there's a program operating in Victoria that is aiming to alleviate poverty in the process. It's called micro-lending, and James Green will have that story. Before we go there, though, Melissa Hall looks into an organization named NANSAR. And there we are. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. I'm Kate Bergen. This is Susie Siri. She's the operations manager here at the Grand Hotel. And we're getting our own private little mini wine festival because the NONA Wine Festival takes place here at the Grand on Friday night. It's the North Nanaimo Wine Festival, a first ever event. And quite a brag list of wines and representatives that are going to be here on Friday night. What is this that you've just opened?
This is Nickel, and they're actually Naramata Village, and they are not the only, are they the first Syrah producers in BC, but they are actually the first Syrah producers in all of Canada. They brought the grape over to Canada in '93. They are a multi-award-winning winery, beautiful wines. This is one of my favorites, is their Syrah, and I really wanted to showcase this and see if you would like to try some. And
you gave it a good swirl for me.
Gave you a little swirl there?
She saw my wimpy swirl.
Oh, I did not.
A few minutes ago, and this is to let out the flavors.
In the nose, and just really, and then you can have a look at the,
I know the legs.
The legs, yeah, and the color, beautiful. It's a deep plum.
It sounds like you have quite an advanced palate. You know your wine.
No, I don't. I know what I like, and I think you'll like this one.
Very nice.
Take a second sip, and then it'll really open up in your mouth.
How many reps will be here on Friday night?
Approximately 20 reps. I think we'll be close to 100 different wines that'll be here to sample. There's really some, it's a mixture, BC, island, and imports. So it's a really nice cross section.
And you've really aimed for a high quality, high end. You're looking for the wine connoisseurs, the people who know and love their wine.
Yes, or know what they like to drink, and then it gives them a little bit of a different. Some of these are very hard to find wines, and so it's a little bit nicer to host something like this here.
One of the great things, even if you don't really know your wines, I'd say that I'm pretty novice. I mean, I've been around wine, but I haven't been immersed into the culture for any extended period of time. The stories, though, every bottle, every winery has a story, and anybody can enjoy that.
Exactly. I mean, Poplar Grove, they're going to be represented at the event, and they are one of the top, the original 5 at Naramata Bench, and they have quite a following. Fairview Cellars, Bill Eggert is the winemaker. One of the writers wrote that he's a bit of a madcap winemaker, and he decided to transfer the brand name to this specific Merlot blend. La Stella, beautiful winery out of Osoyoos. They have quite the selection, and this one is more of a Tuscan style, 8% Sangiovese in it. It's beautiful. And then the therapy wines again, a little bit play on Freud, and they're lots of fun. Really interesting lineup coming from therapy as well.
And as you said, a
Naramata.
bottle of wine is a lot cheaper than
Going to see your therapist. Just have a glass of this.
I think I like it. We're going to go back with more about the NONA Wine Festival because there's something here called Bacardi Arctic Grape. We're going to sample that. It's not a wine, but it will be featured at the NONA Wine Festival. Before we come back with more of the festival, we're going to throw things over to Port Alberni. Nancy Wilmot, how do you get a herd of 22 semi-wild buffalo to where they're trying to step into a milking parlor? Well, apparently you need to be a water buffalo whisperer. It's true. Here's Nancy Wilmot. Cheers. 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 You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4, and right now we are pouring something that is not a wine, be clear about that, but it is maybe an attraction that's going to be at the NONA Wine Festival on Friday night. It is Bacardi Arctic Grape, white grape infused Arctic berry rum.
That's right.
You've never tried this. You're
I
not
haven't tried
totally
it.
sold on it.
I'm not too sure. I think it's something fun. I think you could serve it with a bit of Sprite or
Very
possibly.
sweet.
I think it's definitely a sweeter. It's got a sweet nose, but I think it's just they'd like to launch it during. Well, it has been launched, but they would like to feature it because it is a grape infused rum.
Now we're treating it like wine.
Yeah, I know.
And it's only been released in Canada, like you said, in the last year?
No, in June, July, something like
Okay.
that. So it's very, very recent. So it's one of their new features.
So this is our
party.
This is our breakfast dessert drink. Cheers again.
Cheers.
Tell me what you think.
Okay. It has a kick.
Yeah, it does. And we have had the ice in the glass for a few minutes, and it doesn't actually taste as sweet as it smells.
Yeah.
So it's actually not bad, just not mixed, straight up on the rocks, if that is not a contradiction. Thank you. The Wine Festival takes place here at the Grand Hotel, NONA Wine Festival, on Friday night. It begins at 7 o'clock. Now, licensing restrictions say that you cannot purchase tickets at the door. But if you get here
right.
at 6:58,
Yeah.
you can purchase a
You can
ticket.
still get one.
Or, of course, you can organize your life and buy them in advance.
Buy in advance, or if you reserve, you call in advance and say, I need 4 tickets. I will pay you there, but you have it reserved and you're on our reservation list, then you're still allowed to do that.
It's been a pleasure. I've never actually been in the room here, and this is a whiskey bar, our backdrop here at the Grand Hotel. I've never seen it in person, and it's a very nice space. Friday night, Wine Festival, NONA Wine Festival, 7 to 10 p.m. Thank you very much for watching this edition of Go Island. We'll see you next time. Cheers again.